All right, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, and super intelligent shades of the color yellow. You're all welcome here, and we don't discriminate. Today, my very special guest is Bob, otherwise known as semi-retired Bob. When's it going to be fully retired, Bob? Bob?
I am actually fully retired and have been since my heart surgery almost 6.5 years ago. I was an over-the-road truck driver. And because I could not get DOT qualified again, I had to get rid of my truck. And a clever cousin of mine said, does that now mean that you are semi-retired? Because, of course, here in the States, large trucks are called semi-trucks.
Yeah. Brilliant. Right, so you actually retired Bob. False advertising.
Yes.
Good. All right. So the name of the game today is Bob's going to tell us his story, how he came across this dietary way of being, this lifestyle that we're all a part of, we crazy people here, how he came across that, what it was that was happening beforehand, loosely, generally, his whole life story really boiled down into however long that takes. And then if there's any questions at the end, I'll have questions. Otherwise, that will be it, pretty much. So I'm going to shut up. Bob.
Okay, well, to actually understand where I was, we have to go back to 1983 when I was discharged from the United States Army because I have gout. The Army physician gave me a handout that said, this is what you need to eat to be healthy with gout. And when I got out of the Army, I found a civilian doctor, and he gave me basically the same handout. Don't eat lots of red meat, eat lots of fruits and vegetables and all of the healthy stuff. And of course, back in the early 80s, we didn't have the internet. We didn't question doctors. Doctors were these guys on pedestals that actually knew what they were talking about. So I followed their advice and continued to follow their advice. And I realized I was slowly getting bigger and bigger because, you know, when you have gout, we knew as fact that you have to eat less and move more if you want to get in shape or stay in shape. But every time I tried to move more, I would have a gout attack, and that would stop whatever progress I'd made and had to restart again, you know, every month or so. So I slowly gained weight, following their instructions all the way through till, it would have been 25 or 30 years after the fact, or about 10 years ago, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And they gave me a handout on what I should eat that was basically the same as the gout diet, lots of whole grains, lots of fruits and veggies, blah, blah, blah. And all that did for me was 6.5 years ago, got me a triple bypass surgery. And I followed the heart recovery diet, which was very similar to the gout diet and the diabetes diet, and just continued to get sicker and sicker. And a little over 22 months ago, I was sitting in my camper trailer about 15 minutes from one of the most beautiful beaches of the world in North Carolina, and had not seen the beach, even though I'd been parked there for close to 5 months, because I just did not have the energy to get out of my camper and go look at it. And I'm watching YouTube videos because that's basically what you do when you can't stand up for more than a couple of minutes without severe pain. I'm watching YouTube videos, and I have no idea how it came to be on my screen, but there was a video by Dante Ferrigno called 125 Days on the Lion Diet. Now, how that got there, I don't know. I will tell you that I think God reached into my computer and said, this is the video you need to see, because I've always been a travel and tourism, photography, camping, that type of a YouTube consumer. But that video showed up, and I started to watch it and very quickly realized that the carnivore diet is just a more restrictive or extreme version of a keto diet, or as I'd seen a decade or so earlier, the Atkins diet. But I can't do any of those because I have gout. And if you have gout, you're not supposed to eat meat. That's a bad thing. That's what my doctors had told me for decades. But watching that video led me to a Dr. Berry video. And I watched a couple of his videos and thought, this seems like it would work. It's a shame I can't eat meat because that would just make my gout worse. I noticed he was having a live stream that evening. So I jumped onto the YouTubes and went to watch a live stream. And it was 15 minutes before he started, and there were already 2,000 people in there waiting to watch his live stream. You know how those go. And I thought, well, I'm here. I'm going to type my question in, even though it's never going to get answered. So I typed in, I have gout and can't eat a lot of meat. Is there a version of this diet I can do? If I had known it was going to be this successful, I would have written the girl's name down. At the time, his two female moderators were Mitzi and Paola. So it was one of those two that sent me back a message that said, Bob, eating meat does not cause or make gout worse. You should go search Dr. Berry gout and watch those videos. But what do you mean meat doesn't cause gout? I've known as fact for 40 years that meat causes gout. That's what my doctors have always told me. So I went out and I watched his videos, and it made a lot of sense. And I thought, gosh, this just can't be true. And then I found this odd little angry bald man channel, Professor K, and watched some of his videos.
That shows very poor judgment, Bob.
Yeah, I know. But I watched you. I watched Dr. Berry, Dr. Baker, Dr. Chafee. And I thought, as bad as life is right now, the worst that can happen to me is that these guys are all wrong. And eating a bunch of meat for a couple of months will kill me, which didn't seem like such a bad thing at the time because my life was nothing. So when I got home to Ohio, because I was just packing up to travel from North Carolina back to Omaha, stopped in Ohio to visit my sister, and didn't feel it would be right to call her up 2 days before I arrived and say, well, I'm sorry, you have to go grocery shopping again because I'm going to change my diet. So I started it. I got home on May the 8th and started on May the 9th. Now, I know you don't recommend jumping right in with both feet, but that's what I did. And luckily for me, it worked out okay. And the rest, as they say, is history. I started it just looking for a little pain relief because I couldn't stand for a couple minutes. And the pain relief started to happen very quickly. And over the past 22 months, I can now not only stand for more than 2 minutes, I walk 3 to 5 miles a day. My arthritis pain is gone. I have spinal stenosis, and the pain from that is gone. My type 2 diabetes is gone. My chronic kidney disease is gone. My fatty liver disease is gone. My kidney and liver markers at last test were better than they'd been in decades. And all of that combined, my high blood pressure is gone. Before carnivore, I was taking 13 pills in the morning and 9 at night, plus pain pills throughout the day just to get through the day. And today I take no prescription medications. I took it just so I could say it on this live with you. My blood pressure this morning was 116/68, which seems okay to me for not having any of my previous blood pressure medicines. And as a side effect of all that, I have lost about 160 pounds in the last 22 months. And that is the story of how I became carnivore in kind of a nutshell.
But surely, Bob, that's a dangerous contraindicated diet that all the science says will kill you 3 times before next Tuesday.
Yes, and I didn't realize how far I had gone into mental instability because one of the pills that I was taking was a statin, and I threw that away the day I started. And as my mind began to clear, I realized how unwell I was mentally as well as physically. But now that I have done more, I don't want to say I did the research because I'm not a researcher, I have watched other people talk about research, primarily your channel and Dr. Barry and all of the others I've mentioned, and come to find out there isn't really such a thing as nutrition science. There is nutrition theory, but there is no nutrition science. And the other thing I forgot to mention, I have not had a single gout attack since starting the carnivore diet, which for all of you out there with gout should find very interesting, because I was averaging 3 major gout attacks a year and 4 or 5 minor gout attacks every year for 40 years, which is why I kept getting fatter and fatter. And now I've had none in 22 months.
Right. Well, it sounds dangerous and irresponsible, this carnivore diet, to me. Not really. I'm fully for it, and I have been all along. Anyone that's watched me for more than 5 minutes knows that. Of course, great story, Bob.
Yes.
We appreciate you sharing that with us. And, there's hope out there for those who may be suffering really any of these conditions that people tend to suffer in today's society, be it gout, be it atherosclerosis, heart disease, be it obesiogenesis, type 2 diabetes, sometimes type 1 diabetes as well, other autoimmune conditions, other inflammatory conditions, including gout, etc. There's hope. There is an answer. There is a correct answer. You will not find it in this ring-fenced area of theology called human nutrition science. You will find it by watching channels such as mine, Dr. Berry's, Dr. Chafee's, and others as well. I just picked 3 of my favorite ones off the top of my head. Obviously, Sean Baker's channel is a good source of information largely as well. Good stuff. So there are answers. People just need to stick around here long enough for the I guess the good news to wear off on you. Because if you're coming from a place of the standard ideology, the standard diet, then you are going to have to wipe clean in terms of everything you think you know about nutrition and human physiology and health science and nutrition science and all of it, because you've been had. I'm sorry. Anyway, stick around our channels, including Bob's, for updated news on all of that kind of stuff. That being said, what else is going on, Bob, in life and whatever else? What else do you need us to know about today?
Well, a couple of things. Obviously, many of the people that follow me know that before I did carnivore, I was basically living hour to hour, hoping I would wake up. Last May, I bought a 10-acre plot of land in the desert of West Texas, and I am moving down there this fall to start my own homestead. I'm going to build my own home with my own 2 hands. And I would have never dreamed of doing something like that before. And
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to it a lot. I do have a little bit of a YouTube channel that the whole purpose of me talking to you and all of the other people publicly about all this is if I can reach one person that does not have to go through the 40 years of awful life that I went through to come out the other end and actually have a life, then all of this time I spend making YouTube videos, talking to people, studying other people's research like Professor K, it's worth it. It's worth the time invested. Like all of us, do we want to make a little bit of money? Sure, we all want to make a little money, but as anyone that has ever tried YouTube will tell you, I could probably go walk along the highway and pick up empty cans in a trash bag and take them to the recycling center and make more money than I make off of these YouTube videos. But one of the other things that, of course, you have the banner up there on above your head about these Cerule products. And I found those early last year. I was hiking because I can now get out and go hiking. And I was hiking along a trail and I stumbled over a root and I went to catch myself with my hiking poles. And the one on my right-hand side did not bite for whatever reason. and I fell headfirst down about a 15-foot embankment.
Ooh.
And really messed up my right shoulder. I was proud of myself because I had the bob cam on, which is a camera I wear on my helmet. So I got really good footage of me falling down the hill, and I managed to get up without having to lay there and wait for emergency services to come get me. I got up off the ground by myself, got back onto the trail, got out to a bench, but my shoulder really hurt. And carnivore did a very good job of healing it to a certain point. Now, I'm not allowed to make the claim that the Cerule products healed it the rest of the way, but I can tell you that it had been in a stall period of not getting any better when I started taking Cerule products, and now my shoulder is completely healed. I have always had, for the last 10 years or so, diabetic neuropathy in my toes. They don't look swollen, but it's that feeling that you get like your feet are swollen. And, if you look at them, they look perfectly normal, but they had always felt swollen. And carnivore did not fix that. But since I started taking the Cerule products a little over a year ago, I am now happy to report that is completely cleared up as well. I'm not saying it was the Cerule products, but it's an awfully big coincidence that is when that problem cleared up.
Amazing. So what Cerule products have you been taking? How many? How many times a day? Give us the good oil, as it were.
Well, I take the flagship product, Stem Enhance Ultra. I take 2 of those a day unless I happen to have some extra laying around the house. I'd like to take 4 a day, but financially I can't do that right at this moment because I am also taking the Active, which is their inflammation support, and I'm taking their Plasma Flow, which is the circulation support. I used to take the Active joint, and I got good benefits out of that, but about 3 months ago, I switched from Active joint to Collagen Active.
Mm.
I had heard many of your videos talking about it, and I thought, well, okay, I'm going to just give it a try. And the Collagen Active, there's something about it that makes everything work together even better, because it's ridiculous how good I feel since I started the Collagen Active on top of all of the other Cerule products. You wouldn't think a little blue drink that kind of tastes like, as I have described it on my channel, it tastes kind of like that Kool-Aid flavor that Mom used to make that nobody liked, but we drank it because that was the flavor she had in stock in the kitchen that month. But so it doesn't taste bad. It just doesn't taste good either. It's there, it's drinkable, but it is ridiculous how good that makes me feel, adding that to the other Cerule products.
Awesome. There are various different formulations of the Collagen Active product, market by market around the world. Some of them contain a little bit of actual sugar in a very small amount. Some of them contain artificial sweeteners of, it seems, a relatively innocuous form as well. So people do need to be aware of that. All of that aside, I too have had miraculous, synergistic, unexplainable improvements when adding collagen, the Collagen Active in. People that want another really incredible story around what happens when you add collagen should have a look at a video on my channel called Bart's Mom is in the House, and she'll tell you all about it. And if you really like, if we invite her back one day, she might tell you all about it. Everything. The whole history. The enigma. Professor K. What's going on behind the scenes? How was he as a child? You don't really. All
Yes,
right. Awesome.
I have seen that one.
You have?
I've seen all of them.
Yeah.
I watch all of your stuff.
Good.
multiple times, because you never know what piece of information you missed the first time through. I recommend everybody watch, of course, all of my videos twice through, but also watch all of Professor K's videos at least twice through, because when you get so busy laughing at him calling somebody a name that I can't possibly repeat myself, while you're laughing at that, you may miss something else. So I suggest you watch them all twice.
Good thinking, or more. Watch it as many times as it's required for the penny to drop, or whatever it is. I don't really know. Well, you've alluded to it, Bob. So give us the full rundown on your social media contact deets. Where do people find you? Those that have had their heads somewhere warm and sticky and don't know where you are already, where do they find you?
Sure. I am at Semi-Retired Bob on YouTube. I have a Facebook group at Semi-Retired Bob. That's absolutely free. I have an Instagram that I barely use that's at Semi-Retired Bob. And for some reason, it wasn't available on Twitter, so my Twitter handle that I never use, I sit out there and lurk and listen to other people get into arguments, but I don't usually post much on Twitter. But if you want to find me there, it's at Semi_Bob. Why it got there, I don't know, but that's just the way social media are.
Yes.
And that's basically where I'm at. I primarily do YouTube. I put out videos almost every day.
Good. All right. So there it is. Your safe and effective social media from Semi-Retired Bob, who's actually retired and not semi. You really should be actually retired from semis, Bob. I don't know. Sounds good anyway.
No, I have, I've considered changing the name of my YouTube channel several times, and I just can't do it. I mean, for those that have been with me from the beginning, it's been Semi-Retired Bob. Now, this fall when I got into Texas, because YouTube gives you two names, first and last. And Semi-Retired Bob is all one word, the first name. I'm thinking about adding a second name at the end to either Off-Grid Carnivore or Carnivore Off-Grid, because that's what I'm going to be focusing on this fall. But I may just leave it the same too, because that's who I am. I am Semi-Retired Bob, whether I'm fully retired or semi-retired, or actually going back to work some, which I'm not planning on doing. I do work at a miniature golf course here in the summertime, which is why I'm waiting till fall to go down to Texas.
Cool.
It's not like I've worked there since 1990. Oh, wait. Yes, I have worked there since 1990.
Incredible. All right. Well, for those of you who are free agents Sorul-wise and who are not already registered as a customer of or an IBO anywhere in my organization or anybody else's around the world, if you are a free Sorul agent, go and join Bob's team, either as a customer or indeed if you're the sort of person who's more interested in earning money than in spending it. We have a problem? No, we don't. We have a program for that too. And so all you need to do is let Bob know that you're in that category of people who want to earn a few shekels, or maybe even quite a few shekels, maybe even actually a quite significant residual ongoing income. That's possible too within a relative short period of time if you're prepared to do just one or two things, really, and nothing too difficult, I think, personally. So there's the opportunity for you. Bob, we thank you for your valuable time today. It's always good to cross-pollinate and to let people know here are all the other carnivore channels that people should go and sub to if they aren't already. Because at the end of the day, the more subscribers a channel has, the better it does algorithms-wise. And so those people's channels get pushed out to ever wider audiences in that respect. So it behooves us to all go and sub to each other, basically. So go and get that done, my Meat Militia. I can't even speak today, Bob. My Meat Militia soldiers, if you haven't already. And yes, we'll catch you all around the traps next time when someone will probably be wrong on the interwebs. I've just finished recording a few that's probably already up on my channel by the time this one's up. But you'll notice I've had a crack at Dr. Nick Norwitz and his nut-nibbling nonsense recently, and also some other young PhD person who wants to tell us a whole bunch of stuff about testosterone and things as it regards carnivore diets, low-carb diets, high-protein diets in general. So those are coming up. Well, probably actually available now by the time you can see this. So if you haven't seen those videos, go and check them out. Yes, but don't cash go or collect $200 until you've gone and subbed to Bob's channel and all of that, and joined his Sorul team if you're a free agent or otherwise. All right, there it is. Bob, thanks very much. Catch you around soon.
Thanks for having me, Professor. It's always good to talk to you.
And you. Pleasure, Bob.